So the Lord is describing the way to approach Him. Those who approach properly, uh, those who approach wrongly, and now there are a lot of in between parts. Like in 7:15, 7:14, 15, 16, the Lord describes, okay, Lord describes there are four types of people who surrender to Krishna. And then the Lord is describing after that various demigod worshippers and in between people who so in the same way now 9:15 onwards the Lord is going to describe others. The Lord is going to describe others from 9:15 onwards actually. So in between people actually. In between people. And especially there are three kinds of people who are described in the in-between category. The Mayavadis are already described in 9, 11, 12. Mogasha, Moga Karmanu, Moga Jnana Vichetasya. So 9:15. So now there are three kinds of people who are going to be described. The first one uh, is the Ekattvena category. Ekattvena. So Ekattvena means those who are in a conception of oneness with the Lord. Those who are in oneness with the Lord. So that is Ekattvena category. So this Ekattvena category basically refers to Brahmavadis actually, not Mayavadis. Mayavadis are already described. So basically, previously in 9, 11, 12, the Lord is describing what is black, absolute zero, absolutely wrong. In 13, 14, the Lord is describing what is right, Mahatmana Astuman Partha, Daivim Prakriti. And then Satatam Kirtayantuam, Yatantasya Dridavata. So the Lord is describing what is absolutely zero and what is absolutely one, the axis the Lord is describing. Now there is absolute zero and there is black, there is white. The Lord is described the black, the white. Now these three categories which are going to be described further, they are the grayscale categories. Right? In between. So Ekattvena, the first category, that is the Brahmavadis, those who are in the conception of oneness with the Supreme. The second category is Prithaktvaina Bahuda. Prithaktvaina Bahuda means Prithaktvaina Bahuda. Prithaktvaina Bahuda means those who worship various demigods. Prithak Prithak. So they have Prithaktvaina Bahuda. And then a third category of people are Vishwato Mukham. Those who worship the Virat Roop of the Lord. Vishwato Mukham. So these three grayscale categories the Lord is going to elaborate on in the coming sections now. Text 15 talks about Ekattvena. Texts verses 16 to 19 talk about Vishwatomukham, the second category, which is Vishwatomukham, and text 20 to 28, the verses 20 to 28 will talk about Prithaktvaina Bahuda category. The Lord is going to elaborate on that. And 29 onwards, the Lord again starts speaking about pure devotional service. So this chapter is going to flow. Let us read 9:15. ज्ञानयज्ञेन चापि अन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. So the Lord is introducing these three categories. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without the second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. This verse is a summary of previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are another persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as distressed, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower, and these are divided into three categories. He who worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord. Second, he who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord and worships that. And third, he who accepts the universal form, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worships that. Out of the above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as the Supreme Lord, thinking themselves Humanists are the most predominant. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this way, or in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body but are actually the spirit soul. So at least such a sense is dominant. Generally, the impersonalists worship the Supreme Lord this way. The second class includes the worshippers of demigods, those who by imagination consider any form to be the form of the Supreme Lord. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that. The universe is also a form of the Lord. So Prabhupada clearly describes these understandings are lower understandings of worship actually. They do worship Krishna, but they don't have a proper understanding. Just like in an exam preparation, it is very important to understand how much time to spend on which concept or which topic. So therefore, an exam preparation guide suggests that the first step they suggest is you try to read the previous year's papers. And you will understand which topics are discussed more, which questions are asked. Then you prepare those questions, those topics in detail. Other topics which are only overview is required, you just take the overview like that. So this is very important. This analysis is very important to tune actually our uh, preparation strategy. So in a similar way, we see that uh, now this analysis is very important. So in a similar way, what is happening is we can see that there are these various fabrics which can help us connect to Krishna very nicely, like that. But it is important to see how much to do what. That is the point. Just like now, if we overdo it, it becomes a futile endeavor. It has not much impact on our mainstream goal. That means it does not have a projection on the mainstream goal beyond a certain limit. So this is the point actually. So therefore the Lord as an expert teacher is explaining this particular thread or aspect actually. So these three categories which are described here of the worshippers, they are basically pointers to understand Krishna and to solidify our understanding towards Krishna. So in that sense, there are three pointers. But if you zoom into that only, then it becomes uh, uh, a separate type of category, or you can say uh, a take-off understanding. That that is what we can understand actually. So ekatvena. So now bhakti process begins from, or you can say the spiritual process or any yoga process begins from identifying with our own spiritual nature and identifying with the spiritual nature of the Lord. And that is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi, basically. That I am not of this material nature, this illusory uh, I am not of this material nature, this illusory display or rather and I do not belong to this actually. I belong to the spiritual nature. And therefore it is the spiritual nature which is most prominent for me. So now if this understanding is overdone, then one may say, no, okay, I am the same as Lord. And if it and when this understanding actually goes starts reacting with the false ego actually, then if the reaction takes place under the purity conditions of the material world, then in that chemical reaction what comes out is mayavad, which the Lord has already explained 9-11 we were talking about. So now, however, if the reaction does not go to that extent, or it doesn't react with the false ego, then it remains Brahmavad actually. But Brahmavad also is an excessive zoom actually on this aspect of the Lord, whereas the forward motion is not there like that. So therefore, you know, although therefore the understanding is yes that yes, although the ultimate goal can be realized by progressing on the subsidiary goals step by step, so that we can monitor and and ensure that we are walking on the right path. But then one should not get caught up with the subsidiary goal and not make the goal as a full goal. Which these categories are doing actually. Ekatvena, I am of the same spiritual nature as God. I am same as God. That is Ekatvena. So therefore Prabhupada very clearly explains we are same in quality, not quantity. So this notion of sameness is an essential ingredient because that is the foundation of identification. Whom do we identify with? Where do we have a sense of belonging? Huh? What do we feel to be a part of? Because whatever we feel to be a part of, our actions will be tuned to that. So it's an important foundational understanding. But then, In the case where it gets excessively zoomed up, that is called as Ekatva. Now, the next understanding of Pritatvena Bahuda, that is also an essential second step. So, Pritatvena Bahuda means what? Pritatvena Bahuda means that, okay, the God is present in multiple forms, and that's true. Everywhere the hand of God is there, that's true. As Lord Paramatma, the Lord extends everywhere actually. And so the Lord's hand is there everywhere, and yes, the Lord has arranged a universal government, empowering the various devas to carrying out various affairs, and through them the Lord is training and giving mercy to the living entities. So yes, that arrangement, the basis is the Supreme Lord only. But again, Pritatvena Bahuda, they imagine a form and they excessively zoom in that, and they feel that this is all in all. So that's the separated idea, or that's a mistaken idea which is cultivated. And then the Lord's Vishwarupa understanding, which in chapter 7 actually, Lord Krishna also pointed out to that. That yes, looking at the world, we can see it gives a pointer to understanding of the Lord. But in Vishwatomukham category of people, they so much zoom on nature that they don't see the person behind the nature. Like that. Just like, you may like somebody smiling, he's smiling, he looks very attractive. Now, so that's very nice. The person is there, he's smiling, like that, and you feel very nice. But now, if you excessively zoom on the smile, and then photography, you just zoom on the smile, like that. So ultimately, what you will have is lips, like that. And what may happen is that you may not even recognize who is the person whose lips it belongs to. No, it's a smiling lips, but then you don't even understand. Who is the person behind. Just like one time I had represented our school in Bonvita Quiz Contest selections, was representing our school in Dehradun. So they had this category. The very famous personalities, they will only show one part of their face. And you have to identify the person. It's not easy. If you are tuned to seeing the person too much, then by the feature you can identify. But the reverse way, very difficult. Like that. So excessive zoom actually, the person is forgotten actually. And that's what the no, excessive zoom on nature, then the person will be forgotten actually. Person is Krishna. Huh? You just see the smiling lips, that's all. But yes, nature does give a pointer towards that. That's why we say, okay, if you just live in nature, you will come in the mode of goodness. If you come in the mode of goodness, that becomes a stepping stone for jnanam. And therefore, the transcendental knowledge, it becomes a good breeding ground for transcendental knowledge, and one can gain a deeper understanding. So this is the aspect actually. Therefore, that is why we need guidance, we need association like that to really understand how much to zoom on what. What is the pattern? What to focus more? What to focus less? So we need guidance. Otherwise, we may get sidetracked or into something which may not be very uh, fruitful towards the ultimate goal. Actually, take 16. अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञ स्वादनं स्वादहम् अहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहम् अहमेवाज्यम् अहमग्निरहं हुतम्. But it is I who am the ritual, I, the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. The Vedic sacrifice, known as Jyotishtoma, is also Krishna. And he is also the Mahayagya mentioned in the Smriti. The oblations offered to the Pitraloka or the sacrifice performed to please the Pitraloka, considered as a kind of drug in the form of clarified butter, is also Krishna. The mantras chanted in this connection are also Krishna, and many other commodities made with milk products for offering in the sacrifice are also Krishna. The fire is also Krishna because the fire is one of the five material elements and is therefore claimed as a separated energy of Krishna. In other words, the Vedic sacrifices recommended in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas are in total also Krishna. Or in other words, those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. Yes. So here we see the Lord explains this aspect that the Lord is taking our vision far sighted because the Lord explains how He exists as the root of everything. Just like the road is not important, but the destination where it takes to is important. The first thing is now when you want to solve a problem of traversal from one place to another, the first thing will be at least get a route. At least you should know some route, one route at least which takes you to the destination. Then if one goes deeper in understanding, then one will say, okay, which is this route? Is this road a choked up road, small road, a traffic prone road, long road, what it is? Which is the most optimized route? The first step is some road or the other. For Vedas, because they are such a huge body, what Vedas are offering is somehow or the other connect some road. And then Vedas slowly explain, okay, more and more optimized road in that sense. So, in the same sense, the Lord is describing now. Okay, having understood that one is on the path of transcendence, very nice. But one should not stop there, sharpen his understanding more. And now the Lord is explaining that how he is the root actually. So that means there will be a direct road, which is what the Lord is also highlighting. However, this road also leads to Krishna, like that. So that's the point that all roads, in that same mood the Lord is describing. That how behind the ritual the Lord is there, behind the sacrifice the Lord is there, behind the ancestors the Lord is there, behind the healing herb, the transcendental chant, the butter and the fire. That is the point actually. Therefore, we need to understand that activity is a pointer to consciousness. And it is therefore a conscious offering which is the most important fabric in bhakti as well. पिताहमस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वीर्यं पवित्रम् ओङ्कार ऋक्सामयजुरेव च I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the cerebral Om. I am also the rig, the sun, and the Yajurvedas. The entire cosmic manifestations, moving and non-moving, are manifested by different activities of Krishna's energy. In the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who are nothing but Krishna's marginal energy. Under the creation of Prakriti, some of them appear as our father, mother, grandfather, creator, etc. But actually, these are parts and parcels. As such, these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc., are nothing but Krishna. In this verse, the word Dhata means creator. Not only are our father and mother parts of Krishna, but the creator, the grandmother, grandfather, etc. are also Krishna. Actually, every living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas therefore aim only towards Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step towards understanding Krishna. That subject matter which helps us purify our constitutional position is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all the Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such is also Krishna. In all the Vedic mantras, the word Om, called Pranava, is a transcendental sound vibration and is also Krishna. And because in all the hymns of the four Vedas, the Sam, the Yajur, the Rig and the Atharva, the Pranava or the Omkara is very prominent. It is understood to be Krishna. So basically, the various energies of the Lord are basically the hands of the Lord through which the Lord can reciprocate in love. Just like somebody, having a concern, love for us, may pat us on the back. So what we are seeing is a touch of the hand, but actually the person is reciprocating through the touch of the hand, through the pat, or in that way we can understand that basically these material energies, the different energies of the Lord, are His various hands, and the Lord can send us mercy to anyone actually, and the Lord can reciprocate in love through anyone. That's what the Lord is explaining here. The Prabhupada is speaking here. That even one's own father and mother, they are also in the sense that they are basically masculine energy connected to Krishna. So being part and parcel of Krishna, therefore we can see that connection. And that's why we see that Krishna's grace comes in our life through the energies. Then this way we can really, in this material world, one can so peacefully be rest assured that if I just surrender to Krishna, Krishna can reach out to me so easily through anyone. But it's actually the Supreme Lord who is reciprocating. So the Lord is teaching the science of connecting to the root. And if we see that, our vision is going to be proper. Otherwise, it becomes hazy and mind becomes crazy. And then it will take a long, long time to rectify. So we'll continue further tomorrow. Prabhupada ki jai. Kantarashram Bhagavad Gita ki